Mhm. Hello, everybody. Let me pop my banner on here. Um, and I'm also going to pop down and I'm going to just going to have a few pictures of Suzanne on here for a little bit. They're ones that my husband actually put through the photo editor and enhanced them. Some of them he edited Barry out of. And anyway, the first was Suzanne as a baby, and then she gets a bit older. She was you could just see her whole essence in her face, and that's one of the things that I've just noticed with all of her pictures. And we've got Martin here with me, and that autopsy report kind of said exactly what Kurt and Martin have been saying all along. And I'm kind of a little bit in. I know you shouldn't be enjoying anything about somebody's death, but I am kind of enjoying watching Barry's team trying to backpedal through this. What about you, Martin?
Big time. Big time. Yeah. I see one there about Jane said that Suzanne had a cup of coffee and then went out on a bike ride, and some hunters. Now, there's no hunting at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not.
There's no hunting. We all know that from the elk and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so now we're looking for somebody who knew Suzanne was going to be on her own, and that she had coffee, and yeah, she was dressed. She was biking. She was out biking, and yeah, and the thing is that Suzanne never went biking up around the subdivision there.
Yeah, no, she didn't.
No, she always went on trails. So another coincidence.
And I noticed that Barry's team in a couple different interviews I saw on the internet today were saying that they're making a big deal about the fact that there was some caffeine in her system as well, and having caffeine in her system does not say that it was Sunday when she died.
No, and there was a cup on the work top with a coffee in it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was left there. Do you know what I mean? Would have
Yeah.
had her probably her DNA in it. Do you know what I mean? So that coffee, I'm surprised they weren't able to test how long that coffee was there, or
Mm-hmm.
they probably just didn't think of it. They probably did test it to make sure that her DNA was on it. But yeah, so you have yeah, there's all sorts. There's that the glove that's there, and there's a few other things. So some things we can't really talk about as well. But I was talking to you
Mm-hmm.
about earlier on. I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can't let somebody get away with something. Um,
Exactly.
but this is I feel I feel about 5 stone lighter. I feel it's a weight taken off me here now today. I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm over the moon. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is a lot better than what I had. I could have thought was going to be the result today. It was
Yes.
just bam.
Yeah. Bam. And in case anyone in the audience didn't realize it because of the way some of the news reports were written, the chemical intoxication or whatever, however they put it, it was BAM, which is the tranquilizer that Barry used for cutting off, as he called them, horns on deer.
Yeah.
And let's see, I
And
have
he
some.
said, yeah, you had that on the yesterday. You showed it, I think, on the prelim documents. You know, you were showing the photos of the door jam and
Mhm.
the darts and all that. It was on that, you know,
Yeah,
the
and
BAM.
what I just put up on the screen is a little thing that Kurt sent us that has those three ingredients that are mentioned in the news reports from the autopsy. But as you can see, they start with B, A, and M because they are BAM.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look at the autopsy report. I mean, obviously, this is just what's been released. It's only 4 pages. Obviously, there's more to it somewhere that contains all the other results, the toxicology screening, and all that stuff. This is just the consolidated report that gives you the gist of things. And I also was looking at the persons that were present at the autopsy. We've got
Yes.
Robin Burgess, Alex
Walker,
Walker,
Harris,
yeah, and there they
Tanya.
are.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Remember Barry's trying to sue these people for wrongful arrest, and I don't think his lawsuit has much of a standing at all now.
No.
And then to the people that were saying that she was just recently placed in that grave, her remains were bones. And this right here describes that it was bones, and they had 7 paper bags that contained clothing and 7 envelopes containing items that they described later, and they radiographed everything. And Suzanne's bones were in 3 bags that they went through. And I won't go to the
No.
nitty gritty of that anyway. And her purple medical device, her port was there. And they labeled them in a port. But here's about the clothing. A lot of people were wondering about that, and we can plainly see that she was not sunbathing at the time. She had a pale pattern balaclava, which is not unusual. It was not warm, you guys, at that time in Chaffee County. And a pink and light color leather work glove, which I'm kind of interested in that. I wonder what size it
Yeah.
is.
Well, where can you buy them, or who supplies them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they do DSI? Do they supply them to their workers?
Yeah, I know that there's a store here in my town called Harbor Freight that has such things. And so I was wondering whether it's her size or somebody else's size work glove, and and like you said, whether it's something that's issued by work or what.
Yeah.
And then we've got the light colored partial padded bra, a ripped, and that's interesting to me, ripped dark gray, dark blue and gray hooded sweatshirt labeled Crested Butte. And I noticed it flew by me in the pictures that I was having up of Suzanne that she is wearing that sweatshirt in one of the photographs of her standing in her kitchen.
That's right. Yeah.
And a torn green Nike tank top. See, both her tops are torn. Yeti shorts and a fabric fragment. And the clothing in the fabric fragment were all weathered and covered in dirt. And all the paper bags were labeled, reflecting what their contents were. And then the 6 envelopes, which are in the custody of CBI, contain 5 fabric fragments and 1 weathered bullet. And that's interesting too. And then, without going to the nitty gritty or anything, I'll pull up something else, and let me see if I. Where did my tab go? I am not as good at this as AK is, I swear.
It was a nice surprise, actually, to be informed by AK today.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was
man. And we
very much.
We had a bit of a chat with him, you know.
Anyway, if people were wondering how we knew that it was biking clothing that she was wearing, because none of that was like specific to bicycling, but they did say Yeti shorts, and I'm very familiar with these. My family and I enjoy cycling, and I have a crazy son that goes through clothes like crazy. But anyway, Yeti shorts.
Yeah.
They are cycling shorts for mountain biking. They're sturdy, and they have reinforcement in the seat and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, they're cycling shorts.
Yeah.
And
I had actually said on Reddit about 3 days ago that's what I said that she'd be wearing. She'd be wearing biking clothes. And then somebody pulled me up and said, I thought you said there was no bike ride. And I said, there was no bike ride on Sunday.
Right.
But there was a bike ride on Friday.
Yes. And you discussed that with us yesterday in our live when you were discussing the timelines and the likely time that Barry took Suzanne's life due to the Bobcat being shut down. And then when it started back up again, it was in a different position. So he had gone somewhere.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, he'd gone somewhere at that time. That was later on in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
But the time where I believe this happened was when he shut down the Bobcat at 11:27, and he came back then at he was just back before 1. So it was basically an hour and 27 minutes he went missing for. And the telematics, the odometer of his telematics tells that he went for a journey because his next reading was at 2:00 when he was at 1:05, around 2:00 there was an odometer reading, and but the one before that showed that he had enough mileage to go to Puma Path and a little bit more and back to Tailwinds.
Yep. And let me see. Let's see. There's an article by ABC News that I was looking at, and what I have on the screen right now is just showing you BAM, and BAM is the thing that was in Suzanne's system. It is the thing that Barry said that he used to cut off the and I'm doing air quotes. You guys can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes because he said horns on deer.
Yes,
and
horns.
Deer.
Yeah, not antlers, horns. Yeah, that's right. And he also said that he got rid of it up in Broomfield.
Yes, he did.
So he's already admitted that he threw it away in the trash up in Broomfield.
Yes, and here's that ABC News article, and of course, it talks about the autopsy, and then it goes on to the Morphew spin on this. It says, however, the Morphews are left with more questions than answers and a lack of justice for Suzanne, the family, and the community. In addition to her clothes, the autopsy notes a weathered bullet was found with her remains. Barry and the couple's adult daughters, Macy and Mallory, also accused investigators of not telling them whether they had tested the bullet or the clothing for any DNA evidence.
Oh. Well, some people just won't give up.
Yeah.
Clinging on to, like, there's so much, as I said yesterday, there's just way too much coincidental stuff,
And and here's, I told you earlier that I was anxious to and interested to see what Iris was going to try to spin out of this.
Yes.
So here's another article, and it says the chemical mixture is often sold in kit form with the acronym BAM. And Barry Morphew's attorney, Iris Eaton, I don't know.
Etan.
Eaton? Okay.
Etan, yeah, as in
Eaton?
suntan. Yeah.
Okay. Iris Eaton told the Denver Gazette that investigators should be looking past the fact that he used the chemicals and concentrate on other people in the region who may have gotten a prescription and knew that Suzanne Morphew was in her house alone that day. Eaton added, special veterinarians have the ability to prescribe these controlled substances. If they do their job and don't have blinders on, they'll be able to get the prescription record, which farmers and ranchers had it, and especially in that area. She spoke of a consistently troubled relationship between the investigation, Barry Morphew, and his daughters. When asked if Barry Morphew is worried the new development could look bad for him, Eaton replied, "What do you mean? He wants to know who did it. He wants for them to pound the pavement and find out." According to the 129-page arrest affidavit, when investigators questioned Barry Morphew about the tranquilizer on May 5th, 2021, he told them, "I've shot 2 deer with my tranq gun because I used to raise deer and I collect horns, and I'll tell you exactly what I did. They're in the yard. I shoot them. They go to sleep. I cut their horns off and I wake them up and they go off with no horns on their head. You're going to find tranq darts around my property because I've done that," he added.
Yeah.
So
actually, there is a hunter up around that neck of the woods, isn't there? Up in near Puma Pant. There's an avid hunter up there.
yeah. I'm well aware of this hunter.
Iris doesn't put one and one together and come up with 2.
Yeah. It's just
And when Iris says that day, what day is she talking about?
Yeah, exactly. How does she know which day?
Yeah.
Since they couldn't pinpoint the day, they just know it was the day that she was wearing biking clothing. And but sorry, Iris, I find it rather difficult to believe your little spinning on these things.
Yeah. I'd like to just stand in front of her and watch her squirm. She's trying to, like the time when she was in court and she was denied all the discovery back, all the items he wanted.
And Gene points out it's illegal to cut antlers off of a living animal in Colorado and probably everywhere.
Yeah, the law doesn't apply to Barry.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, though, that when he talked about that, I was trying to figure out what he could possibly use those antlers for, because if you go and usually what it is it's antler shed, and it's got the whole little it's got like a little bulb on the end shaped thing. And I guess maybe you could use an antler that's been cut off and isn't all in one piece like that. Maybe you could use it for knife handles or something, but I don't know.
Yeah,
certainly not the stuff that he has on display in his house. Those are not cut.
Yeah, I'm not the. I'd be the wrong person,
And
we've got a visitor. We've got a guest coming on.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
All right.
Can you send them a link there?
Okay.
That's probably him.
Yeah. Oops. Yay. Add to the stage. Yay.
It's the ape.
Random guy. Good to see you. And now I've got my husband's going to get this in the other room, but I got to figure out how to mute my phone. It's one of my adult kids.
Can you hear me?
Hello, random guy. We can hear you.
How are you, man?
My brother, I haven't spoken to you in a long time. It was so nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, same as, man. Same as.
And Jules, you too. Thanks for everything you guys have been doing. I mean, you never stop and relentless. It's awesome and amazing. I have a question. I couldn't type fast enough with my hands right now, but everything about the biking clothes and anything that's not in the official state papers, is that straight from Iris's mouth, or is that something that's confirmed? Biking clothes and whatever.
Well, in the autopsy report, they are not referred to as biking clothes. They just say the Yeti
Because the
shorts.
sweatshirt didn't look like a biking sweatshirt. I mean,
No, it's just a sweatshirt. But you know the biking clothes that was on Channel 9? It said biking clothes. It was on Channel 9.
That came from the defense.
Yeah.
9 News, Mark Salinger is the one who gets all his stuff from Iris. So,
but they're going to be pushing the bike. They're going to be definitely pushing the bike in theory anyway.
Oh, for sure.
But and so am I.
But yeah,
all I know is that if it comes out of their mouth, I don't believe it, and I was just wanting to find out if you guys knew if it was true or not.
Well, the other report that Jules was just talking about the sweatshirt and the glove and
I have
and the
that.
shorts. Yeah, but they're biking shorts, so.
Oh, it says it in there? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, let me pull those up again. It says
I missed it. I missed it. Oh, it does say Yeti, the Yeti shorts, but the ripped top and the ripped undershirt and a padded bra, right? And then the biking shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And a potential bullet that's been weathered, but don't know if it's related.
That was it was a bit strange, that one.
My last question, since I'm not up with you guys on research, but the days that they were out there, how many days did they actually search? I thought it was 2 days, and then they went back after the gun was found. But it says in the report 3.
Yeah, it says in the report 3. I was only aware of the Suzanne's location. I was only aware of the 2 days, and then the returning after the gun was found by that other person that turned it in.
Yeah. So there was 3 days.
So there had to have been 3 days, and it's just a little bit odd, because there was reporters there, there was people there. I mean, we only heard 2, and I don't understand the third one. That's kind of weird in my head. It doesn't make sense because somebody would have seen
again. There was 2 initial days, yeah.
Yeah, but the report states 3. No, the report says 3, and then it returns a second return.
All right, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
It caught me off guard. I didn't realize that there was 3 days, but good for them.
Well, maybe when she was discovered, it might have been pretty late, and they just, hemmed off the area, protected the area for the following day for the search. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, good points. I'll jump off of here. This is you guys' show. I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you have done, will do, and have done, and just for being awesome people. And everybody in the community, I miss and love you guys.
Everybody's asking for your court. Everybody. Yeah. All over Reddit, all over here.
All over Twitter, my inboxes and everything, too.
I was told once, if you don't have anything nice to say, you should keep your mouth shut. And if I was to open my mouth, it would break a promise to somebody who frankly doesn't give a shit about me anymore. But it would be necessary in order for me to address anything. And I'm not going to break a promise. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I can mouth off for you, though, because the person that has done this to your channel and everything is a scum.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about anything. It'll all work out. Trust me. Chestnut checkers. He has no
Yeah.
idea. But yeah, I just wanted to come up and say hi and just ask those questions and just literally say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for being who you are.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you. You're our brother, and you have been instrumental in all of this. And
No,
I'm trying to fill your shoes while you're away, but
easily done.
I do not come close.
Easily done. You keep your head up. You keep marching on. You're doing great things. You've grown so much as a person since I first saw your channel, and look at you now. And Martin, your brain, man. I love you, buddy. We'll be talking soon. I promise.
We will be. We'll be. As soon as you're ready, mate, I'm waiting here for you. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, 100%.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Okay.
Look. That was good.
Yeah. That's the awesome person. Totally awesome.
This is a big day. Like this is a big day.
It sure
is. And I know there's a long way to go. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But for me, this is a big day because this could have been. We found nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when we found nothing, I still believe there's plenty there to put this guy away. But this just is icing on top of the cake for me. Today.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of work to do, this and I actually think that there's probably it tells me that they're doing an awful lot more than what we think
yes
they're doing, you know what I mean? Which is fabulous.
And Fluffy Bunny's asking whether I think that they're going to rearrest Barry now. And yes, I believe they're going to rearrest Barry. I don't know the time frame on that because obviously they've got everything they need and they just, need to do it in their time. And, maybe they enjoy watching him sweat while he's waiting for it to happen.
I don't know. It could be.
And it could be that there's other things that they're,
yes,
there might be a few more pieces of the puzzle that they want to get a hold of before they arrest him too.
I think there could be other people that are probably going to get a knock on the door as well. Not only Barry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but this is a great day for Suzanne and family. I know they already knew, but even the fact that it's out there as well,
Yeah.
Let's
see if I can.
As I said, it's definitely. I feel like there was an anvil on my chest, and somebody's taking it off. That's kind of how I feel today.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I'm trying to find where the picture of Barry. I was gonna put Barry's arm up here again, but it's
yes, yeah. Birthday tomorrow.
Oh well, we can look at this for a moment.
Yes, you were here. Yes, we were here yesterday because I seen these. And you were scrolling up and down. So
there we go.
that's the darts there.
Yeah,
that was the packet. There was a fresh packet, and there was one missing. Remember, it was found in the drawer. And I think the next page it shows the BAM, or is it?
Let's see. Is it? There we go.
No,
is that it?
No. If you see, keep going a bit, and I'll have to zoom in here. I think 1 second. Zoom in here. Keep going. I think we're going the wrong way, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, up the top. Yeah. It's just after the writing. Keep going. Keep going. Hold on, we keep going. Yeah, I think we might be on the wrong one. Is this
Yeah.
This is other. It should be on, I think.
Okay, let me pull this up. I'll share this tab. Is it in the?
Yeah, it should say other.
Is it before or after the venue change? I'll look at before first.
Other. That's it. Third one down. Third one down from the top. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it by heart.
Okay. And let's see.
And we're still looking at that front page.
Oh, I'm scrolling through the. Let's see.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of all the writing. You know where ours the exhibits start. Then I think it's one of the first pages is the BAM.
What's this one? No. Let's try to scroll. Okay. Is this what we're looking for?
Can't
Or
see.
close to
So we're looking at the main page, the Colorado Judicial Branch page.
Oh, ooh, there. I need to share this.
Yeah.
There we go.
The darts,
I
right?
wasn't.
Go down a bit further now. Go down a little bit further down. So that's KK. Keep going. Hold on. Keep going. That's it. Yeah, no, that's the darts. Go on, keep going a bit more. Just below that, I think. That's the dart again. This is his safe. And see those there is his, but you see that little orange, those little orange things inside the safe. There, you know the.
Whoops. Let's turn the safe right side up. If we can.
Yeah, that's
There
there.
it
So like looks like a mobile phone. Up there, up the very top of the safe. There's one there where you have your cursor. There's one sticking its head out sideways above your cursor, just above it.
Okay. Up here?
And then no, it's orange. You see it up there on the right hand side?
This?
There, yes. There's one there. There's one below it in the next shelf. It's face down there. And then there's one lower down again, the next bottom shelf somewhere. Well, those satellite phones, you know, the tracking devices. So anyone that doesn't think that Barry's techie, Barry was techie, you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Was. And, you know, if they had listened to you and Barry you and Kurt, when you were talking about Barry and these devices and what these devices are capable of, and if they had gone back and then checked out,
probably show where his locations where he was hunting,
and
the GPS probably could be still in them. You know what I mean? If they're not deleted. So we got a bit further now. I think it's might be the next page. Whoops. Yeah, I think it's the next page below that. This is it here. BAM, is it? That's the dart again. No. No, keep going down.
Okay. What is...
That's the dart again. Keep going.
Why do they keep having it upside down?
Yeah, I know. It's a nightmare. You have to keep turning them.
More talk about the darts.
You see, it doesn't even have to be in one of those darts. It could be just on a normal syringe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the BAM itself, if I can ever get
he wouldn't need a gun to shoot them, Suzanne. You know what I mean? I've said this before. Like he just have to go up and hit her with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For some reason, I must check my. I'll check my one and I'll find it, Jules.
Yeah, because
I'll find out my one. I'll tell you which one that's on. 1 second. I thought it was another. It must be on the. If it's not on other, it's on the People's Exhibit. Do you know which is the one with all the text messages on it? I actually thought it was on that one.
Let me go back to where'd I go? Got to go back over here. Other people. And yeah, it's the one that starts with. So let me scroll through it and look to see if I can see it.
All right, people's exhibits up there.
Do you know which number it is?
I'll tell you, just opening up here for me. So it's 60 something, maybe 70. That's the van. There's the car. This is hands. No, it must be another. So I must have passed it. I thought it was just after the after. Yes, another. I'll find it anyway.
Okay.
Colorado. Oh, there.
I just put Barry's arm up there because if what I suspect went down, he was up close and personal with her.
Oh, yes.
And she did scratch him and tried to fight him off. I don't think, in my opinion, that he used the dart gun to administer the dose. I think he did it with his hand, up close and personal.
Yeah, you're right. Like that was one of those things that when I see those marks on his arms, that's way too coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to say that there had to be a struggle. So why would there be a struggle if you shot somebody? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
There wouldn't be, So it had to be up close and personal. So I'm looking at these package deals.
And
darts.
And let me see. And
we're not very well prepared today, are we, Jules?
I think taken by
shock.
Yeah,
shock. Yeah, we're in shock.
And just knowing that the information that corroborates what was found in the autopsy, and we've been over these documents, we've been over this stuff so many times, we know that it exists, we just need to locate it.
Yeah, like all the dart stuff is here. It's on the what you call them one, the People's Exhibit.
Okay, People's Exhibit. I'm over here on the People's Exhibit, but I don't know which.
It's right down the bottom. It's like 60 Pinot dart.
E. I scrolled too fast. Let me see. It's 60. Turn it right side up. Is this what I should be looking at?
Remote drug delivery equipment. Which is the one after the safe. Do you know we were looking at the safe, and then it's one after that.
Okay.
But basically, these are all the darts, and he had all that equipment in there. in his safe, and he said that he was going to that he got rid of the BAM in
Yeah, during the trash runs, I'm looking for that too. Let me see. Sorry, folks, we're really doing this.
Okay, so Gruesing. So there's 14 of them, but Gruesing asked Barry if he shot the tranquilizer gun Saturday, and he said absolutely not. Barry was told no tranquilizer. Barry was told no tranquilizer like BAM was recovered at the house. He said he used BAM, and he mentions out what they are. Let me see. His workbench. He kept them on his workbench, he said. So let's see the next one. Yeah. So it's the exact same stuff. It says here butorphanol, butyronol, tartrate, azaprone, whatever tartrate, which is, and the other one is medetomidine, whatever. So it's BAM.
Yep.
So that's not the one. I just want to see what he says. He got rid of it in Broomfield. So I suppose he could have used BAM to keep her alive. You know what I mean? Incapacitated. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That there would have been no there'd be no what you call it, or less. That's cadaverine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until so, because there was nothing in the house. Remember, nothing in the house found.
Yeah, and Barry kept saying, "You're not going to find anything in the house."
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm just trying to see where he said about the getting rid of the BAM. I don't find it here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that too. It was when they asked him about the. I think it was when they asked him about the trash runs, and I'm trying to see if that's in here or if they just were recounting it during the pre-trial thing.
Yeah, I think he said it was a wreck. His bench was a wreck, and he was clearing out stuff. Like, there's another coincidence, guys. You know what I mean? Just to say that he cleared out the BAM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, he might have just turned around and said, "Look, I got rid of all the evidence. You know, any type of evidence, it's all gone." You know. Just looking at the chat here. I'm going to look at the chat here for a minute.
Okay.
Let's see if I can spot. I've never seen it like how busy Reddit was today. You know?
Oh, I can imagine. Okay, guys, I'm gonna read a little bit off of page 65.
Oh, there was a balaclava found. Yeah, that's right. It was a balaclava.
This Barry said, okay, then that was Wednesday, not Friday. Friday, she would go through these times where we would fight like that, and then everything would be back to normal. And it was like nothing ever happened. And we'd go eat dinner. We'd go have home. We'd have sex. Everything would be fine. S.A. Grusing told Barry that investigators have a fuller picture of his actions in Broomfield. Barry said, I told Joe and Derek everything. And Joe's like, well, why are you going to 5 different trash cans and throwing all kinds of crap away? And I said, I've done that my whole entire life. My truck is a mess. I throw things away here and there because I'm a tightwad and I don't want to pay for trash pickup or this or that, or I had time. That day I was going to have more time, spend more time on that wall that day. But when I got to it and realized that my workers were going to come and I could just have them do this stuff, and I had time on my hands. And then Special Agent Grusing asked Barry about coming home on Saturday after errands and whether he remembered where Suzanne was when he got home. And Barry said no. Agent Grusing asked if she could have been out on the deck. And Barry said, I don't remember. And he was shaking his head from side to side before answering. I do not recall where she was when I got home. I don't even remember going to town and doing that. And Special Agent Grusing told Barry that investigators have some images to show him. Barry said, of what? That she sent to this guy? And Special Agent Grusing confirmed and said it might be the last time outside of Barry that she is seen by someone else alive. And Barry said, I'm telling you right now, there was nothing out of the normal Saturday afternoon. Nothing. It's almost like that evening, nothing ever happened to us that week. She's like one person one day, another person the other day. And when she acts like that, I'm going to accept it and take it all in, because when she's distant and cold, I don't get any affection. And Saturday, there was no problems, none. And I don't understand that you're telling me that she's communicating with this guy Saturday all day. I'm working till noon. Come home, eat lunch with her, leave again and come home and then spend the evening with her, eat supper with her, have sex with her. I can assure you that Saturday night was a good night for us, and I can assure you that we made love that night, and there's no way that she would have done that to me if she's got this head on about this other guy. And what I was wanting you guys to notice from that passage is all his 3-word sentences or 4-word sentences when he's talking.
Yes, that's right. But not only that, Jules, did you notice that there was nothing happened on the Saturday?
Yeah.
And if you look at the Friday, he says the same thing. She was in one of her moods. We had an argument, or she sent me this text message, the worst text message I ever got. She was in one of her moods. But in the afternoon, everything was okay. Everything was back to normal because she was gone in the afternoon.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I actually said I retweeted back to Lauren Schaff today. And I said that, isn't it strange? You know what I mean? That she was biking on Friday morning, and then Barry said that she was in one of her moods, and then in the afternoon, bam, everything was fine again.
Yeah, everything's fine because he killed her.
He killed her, yeah. So, there's a bit of work to be done, Jules, I'd say, but not as much to do as what they had. If they hadn't got the case dismissed, Barry be walking free. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the best thing that happened.
Yeah, and now they've got all this, and that is pretty darn damning, because if they're trying to say that someone else, I mean, what kind of coincidence is that some random person happens upon Suzanne and happens to have BAM and happens to use BAM on Suzanne and do away with Suzanne, and somehow, if this happened.
So look, with Jules, do you know when I wrote my list of theories and I blew them out of the water? because
Yeah.
I went into all the details. Add into all that now, this guy has to be a hunter and is carrying the BAM with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So we have to. So he's not only has he gone in there and he's taken her diary and he's taken her towel, he's taken the Al-Anon book and her charger and her rings and left her money and all that sort of stuff. Tidied up the house. He'd done the housework because Suzanne was out on a bike ride. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it must have been this hunter must have been doing the housework, and that was her plan to do the housework for Mother's Day. Barry said it. Suzanne's plan for Mother's Day was to do the housework,
Yeah.
like all the other mothers in the world on Mother's Day. That's their plan, you know. Oh, for a change, I'll do all the housework. Where's the vacuum? You know, he's such an idiot. Oh my God, this guy's
Yeah.
an idiot. And then he had the cheek to turn around and say, it's not like it was husband's day.
Yeah, that's
husband's day.
Yeah, that just really that blew
shows
my
what
mind.
type of person he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't realize it, but this was actually just showing the type of person that he is.
Yeah, especially since, I used to have access to the social medias of the various family members, and it just they celebrated it together and they went out to dinner. They did things, Suzanne definitely didn't spend her Mother's Days cleaning the house, and so it just totally stood out as a huge lie when he was saying that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Oh, and Suzanne was okay with it, and I'm like, oh yeah, but maybe she was okay with not spending time with him, or would have been if she was alive, been okay with not spending time with him because she was done with him.
Like on Thursday, he wasn't around on Thursday at all, right? He wasn't around during the day, and he wasn't around on the night either. Mm-hmm. And what did Suzanne and Jeff? They had what was the wording they said? They had a fantastic or something or a fabulous time together.
Yeah.
On Thursday. So because he wasn't around at all, and Jeff obviously was able to find a lot more time on Thursday for some reason, and so they spent a lot of time chatting on Thursday and FaceTime and whatever they were doing. So yeah. And then you just read there about him saying, "No, like if she had this head on her, for this guy, you know what I mean? I didn't see that on the Saturday.
Yeah,
like he's angry. He's an angry man because his wife loves somebody else, didn't love him anymore.
Yeah. And here I found this is page 77. Let's see. Oh, I'm just going to start with I do not recall that because that's one of the things he likes to say. But anyway, Special Agent Grusing told Barry that his truck doors were opening and closing as it backed into the middle of the driveway. And Barry said, I had junk in my trunk and I always have junk and I'm always taking something out, leaving my door open. I don't know that that's the case, but that's what I did. And Special Agent Grusing said the truck doors to include passenger were opening and closing until 9:52 p.m. that Barry must have been loading a lot in his truck. And Barry said, to get ready for Broomfield. Yeah, I was putting everything in my truck for Broomfield. I was cleaning off my workbench for just because it was a wreck. And I'm sure I was just loading for Broomfield. And, that's, one of the times I believe that he was telling on himself where he's talking about cleaning off the workbench because, he likely did, and he likely disposed of the evidence of the tranquilizers.
Yeah, and we were talking about this yesterday that I'd say he was selective with what he had to. He probably bagged up stuff that he had to get rid of, that couldn't be found. And then there was stuff that he could maybe put into the hotel dumpster that might have been recovered or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Maybe up the ones up flat irons up the apartments that might have been recovered.
Yeah.
Near the work site, because you would imagine if somebody's going to check anywhere, they would check the dumpster near the work site where he was working, and they would check the dumpster at the hotel. They wouldn't necessarily be thinking we'll check the McDonald's, but they had him followed even apart from the car wash, which I presume they know about that car wash as well. But a lot of it's too late. But the medium is still very important.
Yes, I believe so, and I hope that law enforcement, if they haven't already, I hope that they have gone through the storm drains and checked out the area around that median.
Yeah, when it would be interesting to find a couple of empty bottles of BAM in those ponds, tension ponds.
Yeah.
Or whatever. We don't know actually, but it's like the small items. But they know an awful lot about this BAM. You know what I mean? They know an awful, and the fact that there was conversations about it, and even in the transcripts. So I couldn't believe it. BAM! It was like it was the best thing ever, because it's a big finger pointing to one person.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what Iris and Jane, what her name is, Fisher, whatever, I can't think of her name, Bryson or whatever they say, it's a jury they're going to have to try and convince, like, do you know?
Yeah.
And the jury are just going to be saying, we're not buying any of this bullshit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, for all this case would be talked about for a long, long time. I'd say, Jules, a long, long time after I'm gone out from this world. Maybe still talking about this case.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I know Goofy Girl says Humanimals, Suzanne's DNA should only be on that cap if she touched it. If someone else pulled it off to stick the needle in her, then it should be that person's DNA, not if that person was wearing gloves, is what I have to say about that.
Yeah, oh yeah, that. But not only that, Jules, we don't know if that was that particular one. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like we know he had BAM there, and we know that it was in Suzanne's system. So it's like it's not circumstantial, you know what I mean? But it's very strong, because what is the chances of somebody else having the BAM happens to be a person who's actually has a motive and all the other things against Suzanne? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking. One time they were trying to pin on like Jeff Puckett and the Cody Cox and Cody Lambert and a load of other people, but that's one thing. But trying to blame it on a random guy who happens to have access to BAM, and he comes to the house and he ignores the cameras because he knows the cameras aren't working by looking at them. It's all too much. It's laughable. It's laughable.
Yeah, I pulled up a picture of BAM to show people. It comes in this jar thing, and you take the syringe or the needle, whatever you're going to use, and you jab it in the top and you extract it. And and I happen to know it's very easy to get needles, that like the ones when you get a shot or anything like that, they're available at pet stores and things like that. I often give my pets their shots other than rabies, because rabies you need to be a veterinarian to administer, but a lot of the others you don't. And I inject my own. I grew up on a farm when I was a kid and stuff, and so I've just basically done a lot of my own doctoring of my critters, and I know that it's very easy to get these things.
Yeah. Oh, well, Barry would have access to a lot of syringes and needles because being a firefighter, and
Oh yeah, that's true.
He'd come across a lot of that stuff, where in certain areas. So and also Suzanne would have had probably syringes and stuff around. I don't know.
Yeah, and I, for some reason, at one point, and I don't remember if it was in an interview or if it was, or what exactly, but Iris had mentioned something about how do you know Barry doesn't have diabetes, um, and I don't know if he has diabetes or not, but it sounded like it was beginning to try to figure out, try to make an excuse for, what he would be doing with a syringe.
Yeah. Yeah, possibly.
And I don't know if this was like an interview or if this was back when I tried to interview her. I just recall that, and it just felt weird to me. Willow, she's in the chat.
Hey, Willow.
Yeah, so I
Great day. Yeah. I'd say there's a lot of people all around. There's people I've seen today that I haven't seen for years. In just in chat and whatever. So it's great, and it's great seeing people here like Human Animal, and like all these people from when this kicked off. Do you know what I mean? For me, anyway, these are the same people. A lot of the same people that are still here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I noticed that there's a lot of people that have more of a rural background like me too, because they're mentioning the different stores like Big R and Tractor Supply and everything that sell shots and things like that for animals. And that's one of the things that Barry's attorneys are trying to say is that, well, Chaffee County is rural, and those drugs got to be everywhere there. And the thing is, while some people will have them for their horses and stuff, I highly doubt that these are also people that are going to be trying to find a lone 49-year-old woman and drug her.
Yes.
And and hunters don't carry that around. Hunters are more sporting than that. I have hunters in my family. I'm not one myself, but I have hunters in my family, and they are sporting about it. They give the animals a chance. They're not going to drug them or anything like that. And my family doesn't even bait them. I know some people do put out food and stuff to bring, but where's the sport?
Yes. Yeah. One thing that came to my head today, Jules, was the clothing that she was wearing, and she, from what law enforcement said, is that she went to the Safeway. And wasn't she seen on a camera at Safeway?
I'm trying to recall whether she was seen on camera or not when she went.
I thought she was. I
think she was. I would think she was, because
wouldn't that be interesting if that you see her on camera, she's wearing that hoodie and maybe seen her sweatshirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or shorts. You know what I mean? If she was, if that's that, you would imagine that's exactly what she would have been like. She wouldn't have gone home and changed. Like she was she was in Salida basically, but she was up on the mountain. She was up in up by King Gulch Trail. So she would have come down, and Safeway is not far from a Moonlight Pizza.
And let's see. I'm not sure what the response is to, but Moonlight View is saying that's a load of BS. It's primarily used in anesthesia for horses. They test for it in show horses. And let's see, I don't know what that's in response to, but just for that, I'll get to the point that was made here, that only a vet can inject these products, period. It's a prescription, and my pharmacy doesn't give out samples of controlled drugs. And yeah, none of them do. And like I was saying, when I was talking about Tractor Supply and things like that, they have syringes and they have the medicines that you can inject yourself on your animals, but which is not tranquilizers, it's not controlled substances, and it's not the rabies vaccine. Those things all require a veterinarian.
Suzanne went to Safeway, I think, on the Friday, on our way back from her biking, and they were the law enforcement said that they think that she was supposed to go to County Road 105, the beach site, to meet Barry, but he wasn't there that time. So we went through this yesterday, but he was at the Tailwind site, and so they were saying that Barry wanted to meet Suzanne at the Tailwinds, and Suzanne said, "Why? Why do you want me? Why do you want me to meet there?" And then she says, "No, I'm studying or whatever, and I'm going biking." And so then they said that they did meet up there, and then they went to the store. So, but I think there was a photograph. I'd have to check this with Kurt. But I think there was a photograph of her getting her medication or something like that, or a prescription or something. Maybe that was, or maybe it was just groceries. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I recall her being at Safeway and being at the Walmart. I think it was the Walmart pharmacy where she picked up her prescription.
Sorry, I said Safeway. I meant the Walmart.
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry, I said Safeway. I meant Walmart. So thanks, Jules.
That's why I was a little bit confused. I had heard about it being at Safeway.
You're right. But... Yeah, Walmart is what I meant. It's down there beside
and that
just on the corner from Moonlight Pizza.
That they should have her on camera there, because Walmart does have security footage, and especially at the pharmacy, they always have cameras at the pharmacy. So most likely law enforcement has that information and could go back and check it out.
Yeah, there might have been on those cameras as well. Also, that she would have been spotted on the cameras. Do you know the way the same ones that Barry was spotted on? She would have been spotted on, but she only would have went down as far as Tailwinds, I'd say, and she would have probably passed Tailwinds and taken a right up towards Hutchinson Lane that way, maybe up to go to on the trail, or she might have went into town and then taken a right to go up. But either way, she has to pass by a couple of cameras. And if they got just one camera that could show her clothes, I mean, what she was wearing, if she had the window down or whatever. I doubt if she'd have the window down if she was wearing a balaclava.
Yeah. Yeah, I doubt it too. And I'm seeing that there's some chitter chatter going on in here where some people are going off on the one ingredient that's a horse tranquilizer in BAM, and you've got to remember that what was found in Suzanne is all three, and all three are only together in BAM.
In BAM, that's right.
And that's the only thing that has all three. And some are talking about that they think that it could be street drugs or something, and that that is not the case. Yeah, horse tranquilizers are a street drug that gets used, but not BAM. I think we'd hear about it if that was going on, because there would be a whole lot of dead people from that, just like we hear about the dead people
What's
from
text saying
fent.
there? Look, one dart wouldn't give left that. Okay, gee, tonight. 1 second. Anyone who's qualified with hieroglyphics? 1 second now. One dart wouldn't have give left that trace after 4 years. And same with caffeine. Wow.
Actually, no, Tech, I hate to call you out, but it would if the person died shortly after that. It would be contained, like what they were doing was in the marrow. And
But he obviously he must be in the same business, maybe. Are you in forensics, Tech?
And Tech saying there's a reason no time of death or date of death. Ellie didn't release that. And the reason why is that when they go with a time of death on someone that has been deceased for a while, they go from date of discovery of the remains. And if you go back and study other cases where someone was found even years after they were likely deceased, years after they were last seen or heard from, and then their remains are found, they put down the date of death as being the date that their remains are found, because there's no way to pinpoint the exact day that they died, just the day that they were pronounced dead, which is the day that they're identified. And yeah, I have all kinds of strange information in my arsenal, because I happen to have family members in strange fields, let's say. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time, well, not just kid, but teen, young adult, visiting them at work, doing little shadowings and stuff and learning some things. And then I like to read, so I have a lot of material about that, because even with like really old cases that are in books, which I love books, and so I'll read a book and then I'll want to know more about how they found out. So I've got books about DNA, and I've got books about decomposition, and I got tons of books. And
Wow.
I'm nosy, and I ask people things, like I question, I interviewed the coroner and things like that. And while they can't give out specific things because of privacy, they can give you lots and lots and lots of information about, in general, procedure is this, and how that kind of thing works.
There's a couple of people in here kind of questioning the results here. You know what I mean? Like, they had her remains for like 7 months, and they've been working. They've only just released it. You know what I mean? I'm sure they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? I'm sure they were very thorough on what they were doing. So it's like they're trying to make out it's like a conspiracy theory or something like that to blame, to come up and blame, say that this BAM is in our bone marrow and stuff like that. It's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Moonlight View mentions that she was commenting on whoever stated the BAM would be all over there, because and not anything that I stated. And yeah, Barry's attorney stating that BAM would be all over Chaffee County is very mistaken. And whoever does have it, there will be a record of them purchasing it. And they likely already checked all that out because, with the original arrest affidavit and their original plan of attack, they must have gone and ruled out anybody else in the area that had it. And people are saying, well, Barry could have gotten from his network of hunter friends. The thing is, Barry purchased BAM when he was in Indiana. He was a part owner of a deer farm, and there is record of him purchasing the BAM. And, that's one of the reasons why they were questioning him about it, because of it not being there in his stuff after Suzanne, air quotes, disappearance. And they were asking him what happened to it. And he's like, oh, I must have cleaned it up and threw it away. But, they would have record of how much he purchased, and, likely he should have had some left. And he said he did not.
Okay, I see one there. Goofy Girl says, my interpretation of it is that she was drugged and then finished off somehow. Can you just elaborate on that a bit, Goofy Girl? Do you think that she was taken from off the bike or from the house?
And Tech Commander is saying that 2 of the drugs are cancer treatments, and they are not.
Oh gosh, this guy's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah, and I guess he's been timed out.
So Goofy, I'm not sure. I think she was familiar with the person. All right, so you think she knows the person, but like, if you're saying that she was taken from the bike, or you have to come up with, a theory. You know what I mean? You can't just say, "Oh, I think she knew the person," with no, no receipts. You know what I mean? No. Do you know what I mean? You have to come up with something better than that, really. Do you know? Like if she was taken from the house, for instance, why would they take all of her personal stuff? Why would they take her diaries and the towel, the sunbathing towel? The one from Mexico. Why would they take that towel?
And if some stranger took her, or anybody took her while she was on a bike ride, why was her Camelback in her car?
Yeah. And why was that helmet then up the road? And
exactly. Especially
none of the theories make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, especially
there's only one theory.
She was drugged, so she wasn't throwing her helmet out, and why would they?
Yeah. I'm afraid. I think.
And
oh right, okay. Like we'll have it here. Look, Goofy Girl, Barry didn't burn her diary. Guys, don't do that. That was Suzanne. So, I think, yeah. I think we've got a couple of trolls in here.
Yeah.
A bit upset with what's been found today.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are not too happy with the facts of the case, and Willow's made a good point explaining what the autopsy means. She says, homicide by undetermined means in the setting of BAM, because I'm not even bothered to try to pronounce the 3 drugs that are in BAM. Intoxication. So intoxication caused a homicide. Ugh. Yes. And it's undetermined means because as Kurt mentioned too, because he also, by the way, has studied decomposition and such, the hyoid bone would not have lasted this long. So they can't say that she was strangled or anything like that. And we don't know what the rest of the stuff. They didn't release the forensics from the anthropological or
Yeah, there's more to come. I presume that will be. There was then Weiss scent dog followed her scent away from bike.
And we explained that yesterday, but we'll
Yeah.
do it again, which is that if Barry had trace on him, which he would, um, you know, I probably have trace of my husband all over me right now. But anyway, anywhere he went, he'd be shedding her scent, and they didn't have the dogs looking for Barry, so you wouldn't know whether it was also scenting on Barry. And the guy was saying that it didn't cross the stream or anything like that either.
Hope Rocks, so funny.
And then Goofy Girl mentions that undetermined means seems to mean just that. They aren't sure how she died. Maybe the bullet killed her. We don't know. Well, we know that she had those drugs in her body, and you're right. We don't know whether she was also shot, but it's but who else would possibly have done what? This is crazy.
It's piling up. This is what it is. It's piling up. It's more evidence. It's strong evidence.
Yes.
And I'm sure the stuff that we've talked about will be coming soon, because it will tie in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That she's wearing biking gear. Do you know what I mean? Won't take them long to work out that she didn't go for a bike ride on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And we know that she didn't go biking around the subdivision on a Sunday, and she was biking on a Friday. So it won't take them long to start figuring things out. Let's put it that way.
And somebody says Tech Commander is BM or one of his minions. Well, he's not Barry.
No, but I think he gets people buy him tobacco and whiskey for being a troll, and then I think he starts smoking the funny tobacco and drinking too much whiskey when he's on
Well, I think that he's got his own opinions and such, but I do know that deep down he wants justice for Suzanne. He just doesn't want it to be Barry. And I don't know what reasons he has for not wanting it to be Barry, but
yeah, but you see, you have to face the facts, Jules. That's the thing. If somebody, if it turned around today, it was something different, we'd have to turn around and say, "Oh, yeah, we're wrong here." You know what I mean? Whatever.
And I definitely would have if it hadn't been blatantly pointing at Barry. And and you know what else? We don't even know. Somebody says, could Barry have dressed Suzanne in her biking outfit? And we don't even know whether she was wearing those things. We just know that those things were buried with her, because with the amount of decomp and everything, her bones being scattered and such, we don't know if they were on her or not.
I'd say the shorts would be a problem, because I just think
I'm thinking it's. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just the certain items that you could see that could be scattered and whatever, but I'd say there's certain items then that they'd be probably fixed to the bones or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More likely.
And what I was going to add is that, and likely, it's more likely than not that she was wearing these items, and that in the process of decomposition, those items would have Suzanne's DNA and stuff in them. Just because of the nature of decomposition, they wouldn't be in pristine condition.
And now we know as well why Barry used the bike theory, because she was wearing.
Yeah, because that's what she was wearing.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
And Tech Commander mentions again, still no phone, but phone records through June 3rd. Well, we know that Barry had to have cloned her phone, that there's even evidence
June
of
the
that.
3rd?
Yeah.
I've never heard that one. June the 3rd.
Yeah, he's bringing that up because of the fact that the prosecution did an amended warrant to look at Suzanne's phone records going to June 3rd. It didn't say whether there was action going to June 3rd, though. They just wanted to look at records all the way to June 3rd.
It was probably when she went to Ecuador, maybe.
And
yeah.
Let me see. And then Tech's asking, did he drag her down the way where the bike was found? And the thing is that if he wouldn't have to have dragged Suzanne. Suzanne's scent would be on anything that Suzanne wore or was in contact with.
Yeah. Yeah, all you would have to have is something that belonged to her, something that she wore. And we didn't even have to drag it, as you said, along the ground. You could just walk with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if you look at the on the Sunday morning, there's his phone and her phone are pinging in a straight line, basically from the house to the bike site. It's like nearly in a dead straight line from the driveway to the bike site. And he probably did do that. He probably walked straight there. Do you know what I mean? And walk straight across the river. He wouldn't be afraid walking across that that river. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the dogs would have followed that scent. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
To the bike, because Barry, you have to remember now, Barry wasn't sure if they were going to find the bike. If he was sitting in Broomfield, he was waiting, hanging around Broomfield. He'd already reported, or Martin Ritter had already said to him around 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? That the bike is missing and blah blah blah. So really, at that stage, he should have been phoning 911. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they hung around till quarter to 6 before the phone call was made, and Barry didn't leave for another half an hour after that. Do you know? He didn't leave till 6:15, 6:20 nearly.
Mm-hmm.
So he was hanging around because and the good news then, when he got the news from George that they found the bike, he was delighted then, because he could put the foot down and get back, because it would have been terrible if he'd arrived there and there was no bike found, because the cops would have been concentrating on him.
Exactly. And you guys all must have seen by now the footage of when Barry arrived on scene, and he's like, where is it? Where's the bike? And he's looking in the direction of where the bike was found.
Yes. You see, these are the things, Jules, that you can't teach somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can rehearse all the way home in his truck what he's going to say, but when he gets there, he acted like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He started crying, and then he started talking. Then he started crying again, and then he started talking, and then he's and this you found the bike, Nothing about his wife, but
Yeah.
the bike, which was the important thing to him, was the bike, not his wife. The bike was the important thing to him. That was between him and going to jail.
Yeah. Plus, he knew that Suzanne wasn't where they would find her. So he knew they hadn't found her. But you would think that if he had been innocent, he would have asked, have you found Suzanne yet? Because he wasn't constantly in contact with them on his way, because there are some zones where his cell phone would have dropped out. So you would think, have there been any changes? Did you find her? Not, where's the bike?
Yeah. And he stopped there as well. When he drove down, he stopped at that spot.
Yeah. Even though it was lit up around the bend a little bit where the bike actually was.
Yeah, but the bike was at the back of the truck. At the back of the cops' truck at this stage.
Yeah, and he likely
there was no bike, but he stopped where the bike
right where it was. Yeah,
where it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't pull forward, because I'm thinking that with his headlights and everything, he should have been able to see that there was something going on just a little ways up the road where the bike was, and instead he parked right where the bike was.
The thing is, like, Barry's telematics didn't come on until he moved. Barry was already there for about 10 minutes before his telematics came on. When Barry pulled down to the side of the road where the 226 was, the washed out road.
Yeah.
Well, he parked up there, and that's when his telematics came on. He was already at the site for about 10 minutes. I can't remember. It may be 12 minutes actually before his telematics actually came on.
That's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of almost seems like he could turn those on and off whenever he wanted to, huh?
Yeah. Or maybe it was the mountain lion.
Yeah. Maybe the lion. Lion? Yeah. No, I mean lion. Lion.
And there was something else about to do with the phone. This burner phone of his or whatever, it was used so many times since November 2019. I think it was 91 times or something like that, and it was used on the Friday when he came back from Puma Path. When he got to the site at the County Road 105, it was used at that stage. And then it was used just around the time the truck was taken down to the forensics building. Yeah. And it was used when he got into the hotel in Broomfield. When he arrived into his bedroom, into his hotel room, the phone was used. So there's 3 times that his phone was used. He was used about 6 times, but those 3 times are quite important times. He was communicating with somebody on like just after Suzanne was killed, when his truck was taken, and he was going to stay somewhere, and I think he stayed at George Davis's that first night, I think. So, but he communicated with that device, and then when he got to the hotel, so he's texting his mom, "Happy Mother's Day," and Suzanne, "Happy Mother's Day," and whatever, and give me a call, and I've arrived at Broomfield, blah blah blah, and then as soon as he gets into his room, he's texting this person, this strange person.
Very interesting. And Jean is asking, wasn't Suzanne scheduled to have a doctor appointment that Monday? Yes, she was, but then goes on to say to get her chemo port removed. And no, it wasn't to get the port removed. She was having some ongoing treatments. She was in remission from the cancer, but she was having treatments that are I forget. It's a I think it's an immune booster or something like that, but it's helpful.
I didn't know that actually, Jules. That's the first time I've heard that. I didn't know. I presumed that she was going to get the all clear. Somebody said at one stage, but I just didn't know. So that's good to hear that.
Yeah, they it was, I don't remember if it's in the autopsy report or in one of the news reports where they were elaborating on the um thing. Let
Okay.
me see. But anyway, that's one of the things that they noted was that she was having ongoing treatments with and it said the specific medication that she was using for that treatment. And let me see.
Or preventative treatments.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that there. Yeah.
Yeah, Rituxan is what she was taking, and there we go. It's antibody therapy that targets and attaches to a CD20 protein found on the surface of it's for people with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and some other things, and it's not chemotherapy. It's just something that's used. Anyhow, yeah, she was, she had a doctor's appointment on Monday. And,
Yeah. And there was the wedding.
Yeah.
Just reading some of these here now.
And Donna's mentioning again who said she was in biking clothes because, yeah, the autopsy report does not say biking clothes. It just says Yeti shorts, and only people that are familiar with biking gear would immediately know that Yeti shorts are biking shorts. And so I believe that the news reports that say with her biking clothing had heard from Iris.
Yeah. Yeah, because I seen that on the it was on the Channel 9 that said the biking, but yeah, on the other one then we seen the Yeti shorts, whatever we call them. And she had like a sweater, and then she had a hoodie. So and she had the balaclava thing. So it was obviously cold on Friday.
Let's see. I'm gonna try to pull something up here because I was asked again about the actual autopsy. Is this? Yeah, what we have is the autopsy report. Let me. It's not the full autopsy. Obviously, that's going to be a lot larger. This is just the summary. And let me.
Furious Georgia, loser lawyers mention biking clothes. Yeah. But it was the coffee, and it was saying that all about the BAM, really stretching. You know what I mean? They're really stretching out to, at one stage she was so cocky, you know what I mean? And she was talking about, Suzanne, she's got, for all we know, she's gone to Ecuador, and then she was in Colorado Springs at one stage, wasn't she? They had photographs of her.
Oh yeah.
And then everything changed when Suzanne's body was found, because that now all of a sudden we have a body, but not only have we a body, but it blows a lot of their BS out of the water, because they were saying, "Oh no, she ran away." She ran away. Now she was eating humble pie. She's eating more humble pie the last couple of days. Yeah.
let's see.
So when you were saying, Jules, you were saying about that some of the family members are not going to this May the 4th?
Yeah.
Morphew's family.
Yeah.
So they must have already got the memo.
Yes. And
Bam.
let's see. There we go. Let's see. I was gonna share the autopsy report first, but I'm gonna share this. Let me find my window. I wish Kurt was doing this instead of me. Let's see. Let me try to do this. There we go. Because something that was just mentioned about her Suzanne's feet not being found, and this is from Channel 9 News, and it's that Mark Salinger guy that.
Yes.
Yes, but anyway, the autopsy report says sedatives and tranquilizers were found in Suzanne's bones. Good, dude. Not mentioning that the things are BAM. But anyway, lawyers for Barry Morphew told, that's where he's getting his information. Lawyers for Barry Morphew told 9 News that caffeine was also found in her body. Her biking clothes were found with her remains. There we go, Barry's lawyer. Yep. According to Barry's attorney and the autopsy report. A bullet was also found, but it wasn't clear whether it was used, according to the attorneys of Barry Morphew. His attorneys also tell 9 News that none of Suzanne's bones in her feet were found in the shallow grave, nor were her shoes. They do not know why that might be.
Yeah, they didn't mention the towel. Didn't mention the brown towel, no, sunbathing towel.
No.
Oh, pity.
Yeah.
That's probably still in Mexico.
Yeah. And
they want to widen the search to Mexico, I think, for the brown towel.
Yeah. And let me see. Now I get the other thing. Where did that go now, though? Oh, no. There it goes. And here we go again. Back to this is what was released that everybody's seen is the 4 pages. And final diagnosis, homicide by unspecified means in the setting of, BAM, intoxication. Reported history of recovery of a partial skeleton, partial, medical port and clothing scattered in and around a shallow grave in Saywatch County. Positive dental identification at time of autopsy examination. Reported history, decedent was reported missing in Chaffee County on May 10th, 2020, and her bicycle and helmet were discovered without significant damage in separate locations within the county. No indication of perimortem trauma. Postmortem toxicology of the femoral, of the bone, the femur bone, identified BAM. And then it says see toxicology reports. So we know that there's a lot more to this thing. This is just the summary report. That's what's made public. Positive DNA identification from the right and left femurs. Clinical history. The decedent was receiving maintenance Rituxan. Well, that's what I was just pointing out to you guys before. After complete remission of recurrent follicular lymphoma. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, she was having maintenance treatments.
Pretty good.
And then based upon the information provided to me at the time of this report, is my opinion that Suzanne Morphew, and see, they have to say a 52-year-old adult white female because that's how old she is or would have been if she was alive, died as a result of homicide by unspecified means in the setting of BAM. These drugs are marketed as a compound injectable chemical immobilizer for wildlife, providing pharmacologically reversible, and analgesia, sedation, and immobilization. If more information becomes available, this report may be amended. And you see, guys, this means that, for instance, if somebody had Narcan, they could have brought her back. These things are the same types of sedation type things that Narcan would take care of. And Barry, being a firefighter, he would have had access to Narcan, so he could have changed his mind and brought her back, but he didn't. And manner of death, homicide.
No, he wasn't going to change his mind. Once Suzanne wasn't changing her mind, that was his mind made up.
Mm-hmm. And then once again, like we said at the beginning of the stream, the persons present included Robin Burgess and Alex Walker and Ken Harris. Yeah. All people that we recognize from Barry's lawsuit, was where he was trying to say that they wrongfully arrested him, but it seems that they knew a lot more, and they were right about a lot more. So it doesn't look like it was really an unlawful arrest at all. It looks like it was more like maybe premature, since they didn't have all this.
Looks like all the money's gone now as well. Then
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So who's going to be paying Iris now for this court case?
Yeah, because anyway, the forensic odontologist, the one that did the teeth, is Kim Look, the same one that identified Gannon with his teeth.
Right.
And
so they're using top people. You know what I mean? This wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And what was submitted for the examination were 3 large paper bags containing bones, and 7 brown paper bags containing clothing, and 7 envelopes containing items to be described. And then we see that, as Suzanne at that time was labeled as Jane Doe, and one bag was from day 1, and another bag of itself was day 1 skull, and then the other bag was day 2 and 3. And, none of the bones had any soft tissue left. And, and then there's the information about her port, and then the information about her clothing. And as you can see, it does not, in the autopsy report, say biking clothes. It says a pale pattern balaclava, a pink and light colored leather work glove, a light colored partial padded bra, a ripped dark blue and gray hooded sweatshirt labeled Crested Butte, a torn green Nike tank top, Yeti shorts, and a fabric fragment. And the clothing and the fabric fragment are all weathered and covered in dirt. All paper bags were labeled respective to their contents. And then, 6 envelopes remain in the custody of CBI that contain 5 fabric fragments and 1 weathered bullet, and are labeled as such. And that's the relevant parts of that I was going to talk about. And so, yeah, none of her foot bones were found, or her shoes. And I'm not sure why that would be, other than the fact that those are things that do sometimes become detached from remains. Like when I was looking into Cassidy Rainwater, and then I discovered her mom's demise years before that, and all that had been found of her mother was a detached foot in a boot. And and in the case,
there's a lot to say, but it's to do with the shoe and the boot and the protection of the foot, that it would be fleshed out longer. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's protected by the boot, and so that I've heard that a few times now in different cases, similar thing.
Yeah. So I don't know whether we should look at that a lot or not. I think it's likely that they got scattered or whatever, because there had been animal predation there. The bones were scattered.
Um, and Journey to Justice says, get that trial out of that county. And
Yeah. Has that been said about that, Jules?
and I'm not sure. I know that the autopsy
Well,
was released to Chaffee County, but I also know that CBI is involved, and I know that there are different possibilities of who could be prosecuting
yeah.
this. Because elements of the case took place in both counties. You know, the death occurred in Chaffee County, but she was moved to Saywatch County. So, you know, they could pick either of those jurisdictions, or they could go with letting CBI be the main thing, or they could try it in Denver. Who knows exactly what they're going to do?
Yeah.
With that. And Attorney Justice says Barry will write a book if I did it, just like OJ.
Oh yeah, yeah, but it'll all be 3 words. You know what I mean? It'll be it'll be ages trying to read it. You know what I mean? It'll be 3 words. Then another 3 words. Do you know, like the ones when Peter and Jane, or I don't know what you had in America, but we had these Peter and Jane books.
Oh, that's funny. They were Peter and Jane there. It was before
Ladybird.
my time. It was before my time, but my mom still had one from when she was a kid, and I think she still has it actually. She
They're the type of ones that Barry would,
Yeah.
that suit him to the ground, because one page would have like 3 words, the next page 3 words.
Yeah.
So,
C spot run.
C spot run. That's it. Yeah. C spot run. Yeah. Get hot tub chemicals.
Yeah.
Get hot tub stuff. No, want to go for a hike? Want to go hiking?
Yeah. Want to go hike? And Attorney Justice says her shoes are in the dumpsters. And then somebody else says with her feet, and I don't know. And then Gene mentions how far away was that 22 that was found in Moffett, and wondering if testing is all done. And it was not very far from where she was. I think it was like, it might have been across the roadway or something.
What's that?
It's a 22 handgun had been found in Moffett around the same time.
That was actually it was. Do you know where Suzanne was found? So if you were coming from the road, you walk basically down that trail, and on your left hand side was the old trailer. Do you know and on the right hand side was Suzanne's remains. And you keep going down, and there's a dead end sign. And then you keep go past that a bit more, and there's a gate, and it was just before there on the right hand side, and there was like a sheet that had been ripped as well, like a white sheet, and had stains in it, and it was the gun, the pistol, and a bit of sheeting. And when you were describing there the remains and what was found in the bags or whatever, I was thinking to myself, that sheet now really comes to mind.
Yeah.
Because
fabric
stuff would blow on the wind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would. And so that is quite interesting. And of course, that's not, they're being very professional. It hasn't been released.
Yeah.
The guy that found it had called and trying to do follow-up, and they explained to him that they couldn't tell him anything about it.
See, Shagwell, Betty takes a plea deal now. No money for fancy attorney. He gets public defender. Yeah. And I'm interesting. Like, his money's gone now. He's burnt all his money. Well,
yeah. Suzanne's
with all
money.
Suzanne's money, yeah. And hopefully the two girls still have, do you know what I mean? Their money
Yeah.
was looked after with lawyers, whatever like that, which I think it was. But you don't know. Do you know what I mean? They could have been persuaded that dad's broke and he needs this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I'm hoping not. I hope that's not the case. I know they're still sticking by him and everything, but you know, that's a different story. You know?
Yeah, and I just found something that I was looking for it for a little bit. It's page 84 of the arrest affidavit. March 10th, 2021. In this interview, Barry said Suzanne might be in the river, described the Elks path across Highway 50, said if he disposed of her between Salida and Broomfield, agents would see evidence from his truck. He discussed why blanks, bed sheets make him look bad, and that the tranquilizer dart evidence could be explained from him shooting 2 deer with a dart gun near his house. And let's see. I'm trying to find another one though, but right there he mentions the bed sheets, and because the daughter's bed sheets were pulled off, and I'm not sure if both sheets had been located or not. And what I'm really trying to find is that there is another point where Barry said that he said something about sheets with blood and stuff.
Yeah.
And
see, human animal here. I'm shocked at the lack of depth of gravesite, and Barry would have known better. Yeah, but like he was kind of pushed for time, and I'd say he was probably happy enough to like that's there's properties they're owned, those properties there, you know, they're a lot of them are zoned, and as Jude said last night, the English couple that own that they own that property, but there's probably never going to see building in our lifetimes there, you know what I mean? A lot of those places out there will be just vacant for a long time. You reckon, Jules?
Yeah.
But the small sites, you know, there's a couple of small sites that would be together, and I think those sites, you know, people put trailers on them and whatever, you know, campers or whatever. But for that area there, I'd say, yeah, I probably thought that was going to be safe as houses, you know, and he was digging there. He probably dug maybe 2 or 3 feet, but you know, animals will, like I done it myself. I had a fox one time that got hit by a car, and I skinned the fox immediately, and took its pelt, and but the rest of it I wanted to keep, but I wanted to let it rot away. So I dug a hole about 2-3 feet deep, put it in, and when I came back to get it, it was gone. I had it marked out where it was and everything, and the animals that got it, you know, because it wasn't deep enough. Yeah. So yeah,
I found what I was looking for. And we'll just start with this part. We're starting on page 88. Barry said, "I'm just telling you right now, I'm a redneck, and I'm the first thing I thought of when I came here and saw deer in my yard with big horns. I'm like, I'm getting them horns, not going to kill it, not going to poach it, but I guarantee if DNR knew I did that, they'd slap my wrist pretty hard." S.A. Grusing said, "Agents are not here for those reasons." And Barry said, "I know, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. I'm just being open with you. I obviously, things line up against me, coincidentally or for some reason. I mean, I look back and see some things that happened and like, gosh, that makes me, why would God allow those things in this situation to make me look like the sheets, the bed unmade, and Special Agent Grusing Yeah, and Special Agent Grusing asked why those things made Barry look bad, and he said, because it looks like if I did something and ripped the sheet and got blood on them and ripped them off and washed them, to me, looking at it through a detective's eyes, that would look a little suspicious.
Yeah. Yeah. He's right about the coincidences, though, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. There's just so many, like. But this is, you see, like a jury will just have a field day with all that stuff, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One after another after another. You know what I mean? They'll just say, "Oh, come on." I'm surprised Iris is still digging in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the coffee and the and this guy who knows Suzanne, knows that Barry's away. Like, how many people would have known Barry was away? Do you know what I mean? You had Jeff Puckett, you had Morgan, and Cassidy. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's about it, you know. And how would they know that the cameras were off? Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
it's little things. It's all the little things. You know, it's as I said, he does quite a good job. He's you know, he fooled a lot of people, fooled me, and but it's when you start looking at the details and when you start writing these things down and you say, yes, it's crazy. No, this didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? You arrive at the house, you look in there and you see cameras, you say, oh, I'll go to another house. You know what I mean? You know, you're not going to go to the house that has cameras everywhere.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's, like you said, there's way too many coincidences. And then with these autopsy results, there's no way that Barry didn't do it. And there's no way that he's not going to get arrested at some point.
No, he's done for now. There's no two ways about it. Like, you know, I wasn't expecting anything as good as this to come today, and
Yeah.
I'm still expecting him to be convicted. You know,
Yeah.
but this is so big. Like, I was just when you were talking, when we were on the three-way text today.
Uh-huh.
I was just in kind of shock. Like, I was reading all the stuff Kurt was putting up, and I was just reading it,
Yeah.
and I just, wow. I was just saying, wow, you know.
Same here. I'm just so grateful that he found that stuff, and you know that's how I learned of it.
Yeah,
was
same here.
he shared it
I
with
said
us.
that's my wife, actually. I said to my wife, I said, you know, it was Kurt that, because I haven't heard from for a few days, like, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a journey for sure. And I tell you now, I feel like, as I said, I feel like a weight's been taken off my shoulders, and I feel that I could just say, thanks, folks, now, and let law enforcement do what they have to do. You know what I mean? I could
Yeah.
walk away now. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. You know, not that I could have walked away anytime, but I'm not. That's not the type of person I am. I like to. I'll stay till the job is done, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It is such a huge relief, and it was just so fitting that Kurt was the one that let us know, and that the three of us got to have that text conversation about it and everything, because he has been so invested in this, and he's had so much thrown at him.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Uh,
Since the start of this case, like right from the very start, since he got involved, he's had one after another, after another, after another, and doesn't deserve any of it whatsoever. You know, he put himself out there, yeah. And he's trusting, too trusting. Do you mean that's the problem? Too trusting.
Yeah.
But
and he's got a big old heart, and
massive,
you know, and people take advantage and hurt him, and that makes me want to go throttle them.
Yeah.
Because you know, no reason to put him through everything that he's been through and what his family's been through. And, he's got a minor child, and yet people were still going after him and putting out address and everything. And, just right from the beginning, people were trying to shut him up because he knew what he was doing. He and you both knew what was going on, and you knew that it was all right there for us all to see. But I'm not a techie, so I wasn't seeing, I didn't know what you guys were going on about until you started doing the lives and showing for us all to see. And then it's like, oh yeah. And then, you can do it yourself. If you are at all like questioning it, you can do it yourself and see that it does match up exactly like what they're doing. They didn't
Well,
make anything up.
there was a big cock up in it, you see, because of what Iris, we presume it's Iris. And to be honest, I'm still to this day not 100% sure if it's Iris or if it was the prosecution, but most likely I think it's Iris. But because it was her defense documents that were put out there, you know what I mean, court documents. But this 7-hour thing, and a lot of people here now aren't going to get this, but I'm trying to give it in the shortest way possible. You've got a list of phone calls, and the ones on one page, just one page, for instance, would have May 9th to May 10th. So all the calls up to May 10th at say 5:57 p.m. anything up to there is being done at 7 hours, UTC minus 7 hours, and everything else after that is being done with UTC minus 6 hours, which is the correct time.
Yeah. And it just
Like
once you guys
document, like two items next to each other are an hour and 1 minute apart.
Yeah, and once you guys figured out that snafu in there, it made a whole new ball game.
Oh yeah, that's when ears started pricking up in Denver, and that's when we started getting stuff coming down on top of us. When we started talking about this, we had videos taken down. Our court had videos taken down with all this stuff on it, and they were saying that was people's phone numbers were mentioned or whatever, but they were court documents. You know what I mean? They were public documents. So how could we were only putting public documents out there?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Moonlight View, I believe also that Linda told McDonut, or as I call him, McDumbass, that the arrest was going down, and she does need to be removed, and I believe that she will be. And the thing is that there were so many things that were working against the prosecution. She's a brand new prosecutor / DA person, and some people were gung-ho and other people were lax and stuff like that on the prosecution's behalf, and then they were totally not prepared to go up against Iris, which they should have done their homework and realized what what it was that they were going to be up against.
Yeah.
And so there was all of that, and then there's all this stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and the hazing and the harassment, the all this other stuff, and the taking Kurt's channel down, and it's all very unfair, and it's wrongfully taken down, it's wrongful copyright strikes, but it's a huge mess. It's easier to deal with it on YouTube if somebody gives you a strike and you catch it. But this was calculated and done at a time when people close to Kurt knew that he wouldn't be online and he wouldn't see the notifications.
Yeah. It was all so much sneaky stuff that was going on, and do you know what? It was going on around us, but we were focused on looking at what we were doing with Suzanne. We weren't looking at people who were sitting around us. You know what I mean? And they, like, I was doing my job, Kurt was doing his job, and these people were doing their jobs, and but they were actually doing it for different reasons. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were going after Linda Stanley, like Iris would be going after Linda Stanley, not
Exactly. And that's one of the things, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, that I've been trying to, in hindsight, figure out about Tom is, you know, how long has he been in Iris's pocket?
Well, there was communications. We know, I don't know if you're aware of that, Jules, but there was communications that we know about between Tom and Iris. So, and we know when he made his telling Kurt to release all this the transcripts and whatever ultimatums he was given, that he'd already run off to Denver to the people that we're looking at here, Channel 9.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, Judas, you know, is 30 pieces of silver.
Yeah.
So it's money.
And, you know, this Mark guy, he is one of several journalists, and I'm doing air quotes again,
Yes.
because they seem to have an agenda. They seem to be, you know, actually working
puppets.
as they're puppets for the defense, and they go and run things as if they're fact when they're not, and they make it sensationalized and such. Like, for instance, when they labeled Kurt as being some kind of whack job threatening the judge, while we're wearing a bulletproof vest, and he was wearing the bulletproof vest because he had been receiving death threats, and you know, a very good reason to be wearing a bulletproof vest. And, you know, he didn't threaten the judge per se, you know, certainly not with any kind of physical violence or anything. He said that the judge needed to be honest and come forward and stuff, that he needed to address concerns, and that's all he really did. So, you know, it's just
it's gas, because people say things, and I like that person's not here now anyway, but you know, there was people saying things here earlier on, and it's just BS, you know what I mean? And so you get people that just say, they spurt stuff out, but there's no receipts, there's no proof, there's no like you're saying here, the affidavit, page 87 or whatever it is, and this is on the page, or 89, whatever. So we give receipts, like everything that we, you know, we discover, we make a note of it, we file it, and we put down the page and where it came from. Was it the transcripts, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, or was it from this court document to that court document? You know what I mean? But they just blurt stuff out, and it's just nonsensical. It's, you know, and I don't deal with it because it takes up my time. It's time I can be spending doing work on Suzanne, you know what I mean? And this is what was going on with the Tom stuff. That all of a sudden, that we were all consumed with getting stuff that he was writing, all this false stuff and blah blah blah, and nobody was doing anything on Suzanne's case.
Yeah,
everywhere. It was just everywhere you went. It was in Reddit. There was nothing happening. There was nothing happening on Twitter. There was nothing happening on YouTube. All of a sudden, the whole thing just went bang, flat.
And I know Hugh Animal mentioned Barry surely cannot afford any more expensive lawyers, question mark. And yeah, no. And that is I believe the reason why the $15 million lawsuit was that Iris was seeing that her cash cow was running dry,
Yeah.
and so she was helping him try to do this.
And she was getting a big slice for her lawsuit. You know what I mean? Like she made that was bigger than the affidavit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all it was copy and paste, and repeat the amount of lines that are repeated. If you just took them all out, there's very little substance to that lawsuit.
Yeah,
And then what's there is a load of BS. Do you know what I mean?
exactly. And one thing that was cracking me up right off the get-go when I first read it was the fact that first she was claiming that the law enforcement, etc., were doing wrong in the course of their duties by not telling Barry the full truth. But the thing is, in the course of their duties, they are not required to.
No, they can lie. They can lie
Mm-hmm.
quite legally. But she's supposed to be telling the truth, but she's lying.
Yeah. And so I was just like, oh, this lawsuit isn't worth the paper that it's printed on. And
I think Drew Nielsen made a quite a good decision, even though she still might get a bit of a rap from it. But I think she made a good decision to leave when she did. I think she was clever.
mm-hmm. And let's see. Ann Lane says Barry got rid of her clothes, car, and house, proving he was not expecting her back. Yeah, everything he did showed that he had no expectation that she would ever be found.
And he didn't really hide it very well.
No, he did not.
Like when in the Tyson video, when he was talking about the mountain lion, drug her up the hill and blah blah blah, there was like no emotion. Like that's your wife you're talking about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about a mountain lion taking your wife and devouring her, and there's no, you know what I mean? You it's like you're talking about a chicken. Do you know what I mean? And
you're
the
breaking
same
up,
thing-
Martin.
Sorry?
Oh, you were breaking up through that part when you
Was
were
I
talking.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, just move my microphone. No, I'm just saying that in the Tyson video, that when Barry spoke about the mountain lion dragging Suzanne up the mountain, that there was just no emotion from him whatsoever. He didn't bat an eyelid. Like I was choked up when he was saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then, with the same thing when he was talking about when he got out of the truck, and within less than 1 minute, 54 seconds, I think it is, after getting out of the truck, he says, "Lion," and he might say, "Yeah, it was lion." That way, and there's no mountain lion, and then you see what's her name, Miles' mum. She has the two hands in the pockets of her hoodie, and she kind of pulls back. The way you guard your stomach, it's that natural, and the step back, you see it, and then immediately all she's focused on now is her children and her husband, and she wants to be with them. 1 minute she's hugging Barry, less than a minute, even less than a minute, and she wants to be away from him.
Yeah.
She knew then what happened. We all did. Well, we didn't know because we didn't see it till about a year after. It wasn't released for about a year or so afterwards. But she knew that night that what Barry had done.
Yeah.
Because that's not a natural thing to do, is to turn and say, "Yeah, a lion. Yeah, it was a lion. Yeah. Well, that's that anyway. She's gone. The lion has her. She's gone. Anyone want a cup of tea?"
Yeah. And what also was really telling when he was talking to Tyson is that, Tyson was sometime after the events. I don't remember exactly when, but it wasn't the same week of Suzanne's disappearance or anything. and already they had figured out that there was no mountain lion, and yet he still tried to run with the lion story to Tyson. Even though it had been completely disproven, there were, if there was a mountain lion, there would have been a bloody mess.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, but even the story, see, even that story, that which was great when we seen that, but that was released, the body cam. I said it to Kurt, we watched that first evening, where I said, "There's no sign of no mountain lion here." Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And Barry, the story that went out and said that a mountain lion was seen passing one of the patrol vehicles. One of the sheriff or deputies' trucks or whatever, and yeah, you know what I mean. It's like a picture down at the Poncha Springs or something. This poster, and last seen wearing this helmet.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody's seen her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But say, put the picture in everyone's head that we're all looking for this woman on a mountain bike. When
Yeah.
there's no evidence whatsoever. It's when you start seeing that, like Alex Murdoch was doing the same kind of things. Do you know what I mean? But there was no substance. You know what I mean? So why was he saying these things? Why do people, point fingers at people or whatever like that? They've got no reason to. You have to look at it that way. That you're just an ordinary guy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like he's blamed half the world, and he's blamed God and everybody, and but he's got to get his comeuppance now. He's going to get his comeuppance.
Yep. And let me see if I.
Now he's been looking over his shoulder for quite a while, but he's really looking in his rear view mirror now,
Yeah. And
he didn't like it when they pulled him out of his truck up at the Anytime Fitness at Tailwinds.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was too cool, especially since it occurred right. His arrest occurred right there, where where he liked to show himself off or whatever, and I'm gonna, just for fun, I'm gonna.
What's that? What's on good old England? 1 second. I disagree with that. He mentioned the mountain lion. No, he did mention the mountain lion. 1 second. Mentioned the mountain lion because of a sighting the day before by a police officer in the area. Yeah, but that was BS, and it wasn't the day before. It was said that on that night it walked past patrol car at the while they were up there.
Yeah.
So at the bike site.
Whoops, where did it go? Okay, push play.
And he did say on Tyson's video, if you look at Tyson's video, he said if it was the mountain lion, he would have taken him up the hill, up the mountain. That's what they do. Well, they don't actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that George that he was hugging?
Yes, the bro hug. Yeah, George. Yeah. So he hadn't even stepped out of the truck, and it was the big hug, the big hug. Oh, here we are. We'll see it now. This is definitely worth seeing. This.
Sorry about how loud that was. That's we enhanced it for for theatrical reasons or whatever you want to say. But yeah, there he was. As you can see, he was being kind of dramatic.
Yes, dramatic.
Throwing his arms back and
all
that.
So she, Midas mom comes up, and she's already hooked him at this stage, is she? Yeah. There's no sound here, Jules.
Huh?
You've no sound.
I have no sound.
Yeah, on that video.
Oh, the sound wasn't playing. Okay.
No.
Well, okay. Sorry, guys. Apparently it didn't. It didn't work. But anyway, what you saw there though was that when Barry arrived, the first thing he did was he looked out where the bike had been dumped, tossed, thrown. And he said, "Where is it? Where's the bike?" And then he did the big old bro hug with George Davis, who, shortly after that, the two of them went over and started putting their hands all over Suzanne's bike. I think that was so that Barry would have an excuse for his fingers being on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they were messing up. They were messing up the crime scene.
Yeah.
And they were accusing law enforcement of letting people mess up the crime scene when it was them that was doing it.
Yeah, and we could see from
so the plan was already in action.
Yeah, and we could tell from the body cam footage and everything that the stories that Barry gave to Tyson were not true. There was no mountain lion walking past the cop cars, and none of the cops made any mention of there being a mountain lion. And that's why the police officer, that when Barry first asked lion, he said, yeah, the bike was just lying there. And then Barry was like, no, lion. And, because it wasn't on the cops' radar that there was a mountain lion, because
Barry was trying to say afterwards that he mentioned mountain lion because he was already told there was a mountain lion in the area. Like, he was on his way home from Broomfield. He was getting phone calls every minute, just coming into after George had spoke to him. He was at I think Buena Vista when George spoke to him. So he's only 35 minutes away or so. And he's got John Speezy's on ringing him constantly. A few other people, I can't think now, but there's a few more that called him on that short journey. So he's not getting calls about, oh yeah, and who's going to say to a husband whose wife is missing, yeah, luckily enough, there's a mountain lion around that area. Do you know what I mean? So if you don't find your wife, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's going to mention a mountain lion? In fairness, let's think about it.
They're not going to make him panic about the possibility of the mountain lion. They would just give him straight up facts, not conjectures about, oh, there was a mountain lion in the area, by the way.
Yeah. No. If there was a carcass, all right, that he had left out, an elk or a deer carcass. I'm not sure it was an elk. I think it's an elk. But to attract a mountain lion to the property.
Yeah, and he didn't have any takers.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just you guys, Barry's going down, and I know that some people have been saying, innocent until proven guilty and all that stuff. And so I'll say, in my opinion, everything that we've been talking about is in our opinions, but our opinions, we have receipts for our opinions.
Yeah. Yes, that is the stuff that I've said. I've put it out there maybe on your show yesterday and even last week or different shows. That if you look back at that, you would see that I've already mentioned about the bike ride on the Friday, that you would have been in our biking gear. I put it up on Reddit 3 days ago on 2 different posts in Reddit. I think I put it up on Twitter as well, if I can. I'm not 100% sure of Twitter, but I don't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
This is it from the transcripts. I could tell you what page and where this information came from. You know what I mean? Very quickly.
Yep. And Martin and Kurt are both the same way with that. If they tell you something, they have something to back up why they're saying what they're saying.
Yeah. And we sometimes disagree and stuff. So, he'll call me out, and vice versa. If I'm not happy with something he says, I'll call him out, and he has to come up with the goods, or vice versa. I have to come up with the goods. So we keep each other in check as well.
Yeah, and that's
we can still get it wrong.
That's something that we all do that too when we talk to each other. If we bring something up, it's like receipts.
Yeah. Where did you get that from? And sometimes, like you said something today, I can't remember earlier, and it was new to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably said a few things earlier today as well that was probably new to you as well. And so, this is how we learn. Do you know what I mean? This is how we pick other stuff up. But we always have to look for the receipts. It's easy to get caught out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's one thing I ask of the people that send me tips also is, what is your source? Because, it's not like I'm saying I don't believe you. What I'm saying is I need to have a source. And, like, was it a news station? Was it, where did it come from? And like the other day when there was that article before the autopsy was actually published, when they said that, I think they said that Suzanne had been strangled or something in that report. And I posted it on Twitter asking, is this true? Because I couldn't find the source of the article. I couldn't find out who the author was. And then it turned out that it had been an AI created.
AI. I actually put that article up in Reddit, but I took it for what it was. I didn't say that this is truth, whatever, but this was an article that was put up.
Yeah.
And I put it up on Reddit. And so some people were saying, especially the trolls now were saying, you wanted to take this down. But I left it up because it actually developed a good discussion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was, so I said to the moderators, I said, look, you can take that down if you want. I said, because it looks like it is AI, like, you know what I mean? But they left it there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to do something like that, you know what I mean? They know if you're trying to pull a fast one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And apparently Reverend Donna Serafina nailed what happened. And I don't remember, but I do know that she did do some readings, or whatever you want to call it, where she did say that this is the outcome, or would be the outcome. So anyway, let's see. I think I'm gonna put up one last thing, which is this. And
do you know what was very telling, Jules? Was the video with Miles and his dad and his sister.
Yes.
Because they were genuinely looking for Suzanne. You know what I mean? They had like a sleeping bags and they were going out for a long haul type of thing. You know what I mean? They were going out to look for Suzanne. Do you know what I mean? Miles had already been up the Fooses and he'd been back up to the house, and he was given very clear, definite answers to Deputy Brown. Hats off to that guy. Do you know what I mean? And there were difficult questions then, and his dad said, yeah, you say what you have to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell the truth, like. And I admire that young fella for that.
Yeah, and just the looks on Miles
Faces.
and yeah,
And the bike was found. When they said they found the bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could set it was like looking at a mathematician, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The numbers were going in their heads, the things that would go through their heads, and they were correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny as well that Miles' sister said, oh, they've cameras in the house, and she pointed at the cameras, and then Miles said immediately, oh no, but those cameras have been out for a while. So he must have said the same thing. He must have said when Macy and Mallory were contacted him, he must have, well, did anyone check the cameras? And they must have said the same thing to the dad. And Barry's saying, oh no, the cameras are out a long time, you know what I mean? So I bet if you track back, they were all surprised that there was no cameras, you know what I mean?
I think so. I think so, because
too coincidental that there was no cameras.
And I was seeing in the chat when they were talking about the various Suzanne things, and what was very telling before this autopsy report was put out. Obviously, the family was given the report before we were, and then the reaction of Barry and the girls was to make a service for Suzanne on Saturday, May 4th at 10. And upon hearing that, other family members made their own memorial service, same date and time, and Suzanne's friends did the same. So I think the friends of Suzanne and certain family members, and one of them actually is Barry's sister, and her kids are sister-in-law and her kids. I'm not sure which, because I'm not really up on Barry's family tree, but they, nieces and nephews included, decided to have their own memorial service and not go to Barry's service. And then there's also one that's going to be going on, and I have to, let's see, pull that up.
The 11th, isn't it?
Yes. And this one is
that would be a lot better and nicer as well, because there'd be a lot more smiles, I think, when for people at that with Trisha Leeway. I mean,
yes, and this one is, as it says, going on there in Poncha Springs, and it's going to be potluck style, so bring a dish. And then afterwards, they are traveling over to Moffat, where Suzanne was found, and they're planting a tree.
Right, nice. Mm-hmm. Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess we will call it a day, a very eventful day, and hopefully we can see these fine people again sometime soon. But and maybe because of an arrest announcement, or just to go over the facts that are public. Yeah. Because obviously there are still plenty of people who don't really understand what the evidence that is public is. And I don't want to go, we're not going to go, before anybody goes thinking that we're going to go mess up investigations or the legal. We're not doing that. We're only letting, we're only discussing and explaining things that are public.
There's going to be this coming out, is going to loosen some lips as well,
Yeah.
and which is going to be a great thing. But it also jog people's memories,
Uh-huh. It will.
because descriptions of what Suzanne was wearing, maybe, and stuff like that, that people who might have seen her on that day,
Yeah,
might
we
be,
might learn a real and much different proof of life
yes.
other than Barry.
Hmm. Yeah, we know he wasn't chasing her around anyway.
No.
I mean, because that was just the static drift. Do you know what I mean? From all
Yeah.
the phones that was in going on that time. Thanks, Jules, and thanks, chat.
Yes, thank you, chat.
I see lots of nice things being said there, and I appreciate everything that people said about me and whatever, and Kurt as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell everybody, thank you for the donations yesterday. As you can see, I don't have that stupid little StreamYard thing on the corner anymore. I was able to go get the paid version again, and now I can back up my lives in StreamYard again.
All
So
right.
thank you.
Okay. All right. So, and what about does that the ones previous? Can you back them up as well?
No, but the ones previous, I downloaded them.
All right.
But they're on my hard drive. But videos take a lot of space, so I'm very happy to be
Yes.
able to store them in StreamYard again.
All right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, and anyway,
Thanks, Sonny.
Martin and AK are always welcome over here because they're my brothers, and they are shedding light on the truth, and people try to shut them up, but I don't think they should be shut up. So I have a platform, and I'm more than happy to host them.
Like we've still got stuff that we haven't discussed yet, because we chose to do it this way. We went to do the Pizzagate thing, because I was saying it was going to take so long. It would take like 10 episodes to get through all the stuff we had.
Yeah.
And I just said, if we done the Pizzagate stuff, then law enforcement would see, do you know what I mean, of what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of similar to the May 9th as well. Going through all those messages between Libler and Barry, and so but there's stuff in between, and there's stuff in Broomfield, and there's stuff to do with the truck and whatever that we haven't even got to. You know what I mean? It's all very important stuff. You know what I mean? So there's still lots to talk about.
Yeah, there is, and I'd love to have you come on here and talk about it with me.
Great. Well, there's a date. Okay, perfect. All right, folks.
Thank you all for being here. Yeah, and justice for Suzanne. Let's see.